So Pokemon Go has been released and everyone is out on their Pokemon adventure. I'm seeing like just Twitter and Facebook light up with people like, oh my gosh, I already found these Pokemon, or I'm already out on adventure and stuff. But there are some things that you need to be aware of. Consider this the do's and don'ts for Pokemon Go, because it is quite the adventure and it's going to get people out doing things they really aren't too familiar with. So there is going to be a good thing about that. And my friend Turret Mob did make this Reddit post, so let's go and check it out. A lot of us are just starting our first mobile adventure through Pokemon Go, and some of us are old enough to know better. There are still young people, and they are curious. So let's take a moment to go over some trainer tips with our younger trainers. Now, first off, these rules apply to everyone, because I feel like there are going to be a lot of older people that are really caught up in the nostalgia that might actually get a little carried away or think they know better when they should probably be following the rules or have a little better judgment just like everyone else. So trainer tip number 1. Pokemon Go uses up a lot of mobile data, so be aware of that. Also, make sure you talk to your parents before going out and eating up the entire family data plan. Same goes with in-app purchases. Now, these are microtransactions, and as a rule with microtransactions, just say it like, if you can't afford to not have the money, then don't spend it. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be teasing you, but just go to Pokestops. Make sure you can refill on your supplies as you go then. And also, parents, if you know your child is going to be using it, make sure that they know they're going to get in trouble if they go and rack up like a $100 bill just going and buying stuff with the Pokemon currency. So that's a good time. Also, have some self-control if you are older and you don't want to burn through your paycheck immediately. Trainer tips number 2 and 3. Just be careful when you go outside, especially around nighttime, that, you know, if your adventure starts to drag on throughout the day, either exercise caution, like, hey, you can head home and you can resume your adventure tomorrow. You don't have to push limits too hard. Also, you know, if you're, like, out in the woods or if you're in, like, a rougher area of the neighborhood or outskirts of town or something, just make sure, one, you're not alone. Do not go alone if it is kind of in a risky scenario. I think that what happens is this is going to encourage a lot more people to expand their boundaries of how far they normally go on adventure. It's going to get more kids to go outside than they have in a while. Like, I grew up as a 90s kid, so we're used to going around and like running through the woods and stuff, but maybe you aren't as experienced with that. Just be prepared. You know, have a flashlight just in case it starts to get dark. Make sure your parents or friends or someone knows when you're leaving and when you expect to get back. That way, just in case something happens to you, you will be good. Also, try not to drain the battery on your phone, that you can, you know, call to have someone pick you up if it gets a little too dark too fast, or that, you know, that way you can at least call and be like, hey, I'm gonna be a little late. Just want you to know I'm safe right now, and that's okay. Trainer tip number 4. Key items. You should also bring water, snacks, external battery pack, or a phone charger. That's going to be very nice. Those are going to be your personal IRL key items. You know, it's the middle of summer. Make sure you stay hydrated, keep your energy up, and don't be outside for too long. You know, wear sunscreen, have the appropriate clothing as well. Trainer tip number 5, don't believe the strangers promising rare candies. Well, this is pretty much just like, don't talk to strangers, you know, that this actually, as sad as it may be, might be an opportunity for child predators to actually take advantage of children over this. Just only stay with your buddy, you know, get a Pokemon Go buddy, go adventuring in areas you are familiar with. If it starts to stretch, you know, if you see a Pokemon that's outside of your normal boundary, you know, make sure you're in communication with your parents, make sure you're in communication with your friends, guardians, whoever is in charge of you or whatever you're using, you know, use your best judgment. Don't go too deep into the woods. Don't go into too sketchy or dangerous areas. Don't go into suspicious places. Don't talk to suspicious people. You are pretty vulnerable right now, you know, just don't let the adventure get you carried away, and always try to use the best judgment possible when just going around through your area. Trainer tip number 6, make sure you dress appropriately. We're in summer right now, but this game's going to be out for a while, so when it gets colder, make sure you know, pack a jacket, maybe have a backpack with you. Just always be prepared for whatever you might go out. Just treat every little adventure like it could last a little longer, or it could turn into a little bit more of a hike. Trainer tip number 7, be conscious of your surroundings. We've already had the police warning trainers not to step inside their buildings, so don't trespass private property, don't go anywhere where passerbys aren't wanted, and also know that some people might be thinking you're weird for doing what you're doing, so just kind of be prepared to talk lucidly with the people. You know, if you're kind of in a sketchy kind of area, or if you've kind of gone over the bounds just a little to get to that Charmander, just be ready to talk to someone. Look both ways before crossing the street. Make sure you have permission to go anywhere where you're going. Like, there are a couple of police stations that are Pokestops. Just stay outside when you engage with your Pokemon, you know, just go into the area where you get to encounter your Pokemon, and that's it. Don't go into unfamiliar buildings, don't go into unfamiliar or suspicious areas like that. And here we go, like when crossing the street, even though pedestrians have the right of way in the US, it's not going to stop cars from accidentally hitting someone. Or just also be aware of other people who aren't paying attention. You know, other people might be on their phones. Try not to walk into too many people, try not to walk into the traffic or anything. Just be aware of your surroundings, I think, is a pretty good one. And number 8, we're all going to be up and about running around, so be careful. If you do not have a case for your phone, now is the time to get a case for your phone. Yeah, that's a pretty good one, because your phone is going to be out for the most part, unless you have a Pokemon GO Plus. And even then, like when you're pulling it out to catch that Pokemon, or when you're engaging and just checking your phone and stuff, don't drop it and crack your screen or break your phone. So make sure your phone is protected, make sure you're protected, and I think that's all pretty good. I was going to read the comments, but there's only one comment right now. I wonder if there's any more. Let's refresh. Do we get any more comments right now? Trainer tip number 9. Don't forget to change your underwear every single day. Your mommy loves you, sweeties. Here we go. Pokemon are not worth getting into trouble for if Pokemon are in places where people aren't generally allowed. It can be awkward to explain trespassing on private property because of a virtual Pokemon. Because of the publicity of this, there might be some leeway. You know, don't try to like lie. If someone calls you out, don't try to run away from them. Don't try to do things that look extra sketchy. For the most part, you can explain yourself. Just don't try to get into too much trouble out there. Some more information about Pokemon GO now that, like, you know, people have been experiencing it throughout the day. It does drain your battery super hard, so try to have an external battery pack or charging station for that. Also, shiny Pokemon are in the game, apparently, that there are some reports of people finding shinies, so if you see a strangely colored Pokemon, then that means your game is working just fine, and you are a very lucky person as well. Also, if you're downloading Pokemon GO, it only works on the Android 4.3 or newer versions and the iPhone 5 or newer as well. I think that's it. You know, just try to engage with Pokemon GO as much as possible. That catching duplicates of Pokemon is absolutely necessary and encouraged. You gain experience, you gain shards, that way you can evolve your Pokemon. And Pokestops are going to be ways of getting Pokeballs and also all sorts of fun stuff like Pokemon eggs. And then you can become a gym leader and choose your team and all kinds of cool stuff. So be safe out there, guys. Make sure everything is going to be awesome on your Pokemon adventures. Try to optimize, you know, min-max your daily cycle. As if you're like a latchkey kid or you walk around to get to and from school, catch the bus, go to the mall. You know, just pull out your phone. Make sure there's not too many Pokemon you're passing up.
Potion or whatever. No. We have this. We need one more hit. No. Voltorb. Voltorb, buddy. Yo, we just got absolutely wrecked.